says we are live, so good evening. We're doing something different this tonight. Usually we don't cover NXT stuff, but I was like, screw it. Asked the guys last week if they wanted to do it, and so we're gonna do a watch party for Halloween Havoc. I don't know if we're gonna be rating this one so much because this is basically a developmental territory. So some of these guys are gonna be a little greener than what you see on the main roster. So I don't know if we should be rating their performances or not. I mean, it's not like the old NXT. Yeah, in the old NXT, you had a lot of veteran guys that were from the indie circuit and stuff that were wrestling on the NXT. Now it's mostly a lot of younger people that are just starting out. So I don't know if Jason's back yet, but we have Jason Stewart in here with us so far tonight. Got some other links out there for other people if they want to jump in.
Yeah, I'm hanging out here, man. I'm just trying to straighten up the desk.
Very good. Well, what do you think? Should we give ratings on it or not, since it's just like developmental?
Sure, we'll judge them.
Now, are we judging on a curve or?
I guess what we feel in our hearts, Rich.
So, I'd say who's out in the chat so far, but it's just you. So hopefully more people start rolling in here as we get going. Still ain't been able to get a goddamn community tab on my YouTube page. Have you got one yet? G23 and Rick both got theirs.
No, but I've been getting a lot of emails about YouTube introducing something.
Yeah, the
But I don't know what it is.
Yeah, the handles are calling it. I guess they're making it where so that people can't have multiple people can't have the same name or some nonsense like that. That's what it looks like it is anyway. Because that does make it hard to find certain things when you're searching in their search bar and you type in like the Crazy Scotsman before you change his name and you got some weirdo from Scotland whose videos would come up. So.
There's like 1,000 Jason Stewarts, so I don't know what that's gonna do for me.
Well, you should. I don't know if you qualify yet for your. You got 100 subs. If so, you should have a custom URL that you can enter in.
Yeah, I got like 150 or something.
Yeah, if you go into the studio and hit like I think it's the settings bar, you can pick your own custom URL. It's in there somewhere. It's buried in the studio, but if you play around in there, you can find it and set your custom URL. So you could set yours where it would be like youtube.com/c/Jason Stewart, as long as somebody else hasn't already done that. We got George Grace and Cat out there in the chat asking if cats can wrestle. Ours do all the time, so I would say yes.
It's a cat fight.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're more playing than fighting. So there was some movement this week on the whole thing with the Elite, between the Elite and CM Punk. As we figured, Ace Steel was fired. And the reports from yesterday are that CM Punk is having his contract bought out. They're supposed to be, according to the reports, negotiating that. This all stemming back from that fight after All Out a couple months ago. Well, no, it was a month ago. Yeah, it was a little over a month ago from it, right? When that all happened.
Oh, about a month ago.
And apparently the Elite are supposed to be returning soon as well, which means it doesn't look like they're going to be getting any kind of serious punishment. Which, if they fired Ace Steel and are in the process of getting rid of Punk, and the Elite are coming back, it looks like Punk or Ace Steel were the instigators of the whole situation backstage as well. So, if for anybody who's watching this on replay doesn't know what we're talking about after. Oh, good, you were going to say something?
I was just gonna say this is what happens when you hire a punk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, which if you're a wrestling fan at this point, I don't know how you don't, because it's been everywhere on all the wrestling channels on YouTube and whatnot. They even covered it on the news at one point. It's regular, like evening news kind of news. And anyway, CM Punk went running his mouth at a post press conference, and he called out the Elite for something stupid. And they went to his locker room, and nobody knows for sure as of yet what happened, but a fight broke out. We don't know why exactly, and it led to a bunch of people being suspended, including 3 executive vice presidents of the company, the director of talent relations, and some other people, as well as Punk and Ace Steel, who we already were mentioned. And right, like a week later, you had the head of talent relations and a couple of the other guys that were suspended. They were all brought back from suspension. They started a legal investigation using an outside, I guess, detective agency to investigate everything. Didn't specify who. But there are detective agencies that handle that kind of thing for different companies and whatnot. If there's a situation like that happens between employees and such, so that they can get it straightened out and find out what happened before they determine any legal action, any charges they want to file against person, what have you. In this case, it doesn't look like there's going to be any criminal charges filed, but 2 people looks like potentially are losing their job. And you know what? The guy that got fired without having to go through any kind of contract fight or anything, he was biting people and stuff, and yeah, it's not good. Not good. So apparently, from one report that came out, was that Kenny Omega was trying to break things up when the guy bit him. He wasn't even, and that's when he started getting physical with that guy because he bit him, which is understandable, right? If somebody tries biting you, you're gonna punch him in the mouth, right?
Yeah, man, no biting, no hair pulling.
Yeah, I mean, Gary says sorry about that. He goes AFK for 5 minutes, and the dang cat gets on there. Yeah, they're sneaky like that, man. You gotta watch them cats. Yeah, it's just gonna be interesting to see where that goes from this point. They haven't made the Elite haven't made their return yet, so don't know how much longer they're going to be out for. But again, if they do come back and Punk and the other guy are the only 2 that are gone from this whole thing, yeah, that's that's looking more and more like Punk and the other guy were at fault. Gary says he told him He has no business chatting on here. He can't even spell correctly. He spells good enough for something for an animal that doesn't have fingers, Gary. Come on, cut the little kitty cat some slack, man. You tried typing without fingers and thumbs.
Yeah. Careful, George might get you a channel strike or something.
Who, me? Gary. That's what lint rollers are for, man. Take a lint roller to that keyboard. Or a can of compressed air. Maybe both. Yeah, it's about all that really happened. I mean, it was a slow news week again for wrestling, but that did come out, which is probably like the two biggest stories was about that guy getting fired, Punk getting potentially having his contract bought out, confirmed or somewhat confirmed. Don't know any amounts or anything, but then AEW plays it close to the vest how much they're paying their guys. It's not like you can go and look up and see how much WWE is paying anybody. And now you got people speculating if Punk will go back to WWE now that Vince is gone. I doubt it because Triple H doesn't like the guy either.
Well, let's hope he doesn't get fined $1.25 trillion like everybody else.
But what's bad about Punk, CM Punk is the one guy that Vince McMahon said that under no circumstances would he ever work with again. I mean, you look at some of the guys that Vince brought in. He brought Hogan back. Him and Hogan did not see eye to eye. He brought the Ultimate Warrior in for a Hall of Fame induction. The two of them didn't see eye to eye.
Brought Bret Hart into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Bret Hart even appeared on the TV program routinely, just like Hogan. So
And they didn't see eye to eye at all. They saw
no.
eye to fist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if Vince can work with those guys and not work, and then say he would never, under any circumstance, work with CM Punk again, tells you something about Punk, doesn't it?
Yeah, man, I just don't like that Punk guy. I didn't really know anything about him until he came back here, and every time I saw him, I just didn't like the dude.
Yeah. Vince Vince would do anything to make money. If it was going to make money, he would do it. And he said he would never work with CM Punk, no matter how popular he was. So, everywhere this guy's gone, he's had some kind of trouble that's followed him. So, he's got an ego that's bigger than what his position is. You know what I mean?
That's a nice way of putting it. I just say he's a dickhead.
Well, yeah, there's that too. Well, that goes hand in hand. Hey, Kingpin.
Evening, boys.
Hey, man, how's it going?
Not too shabby.
So, how much have you been paying attention to what we were saying and stuff?
Yeah, I just didn't. You went a little bit of Rick on me and started kind of like losing me in the conversation. Is CM Punk done with Moxley's TV show, or like what is it? Wrap up
That,
what you're getting at, like in a real quick, easy sentence.
from all reports, yes.
Okay.
The reports are that he is having his contract bought out and that he is done with AEW.
Hmm. That's what. Okay, I'm glad that you talked it out. That's what I meant to say. Bought out. What's that? Like I understand what bought out means, but is AEW just paying him for the rest of his contract and telling him to walk out?
Basically, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's
he's
the
a
basic
pariah then.
gist.
He's finished.
Yeah, he's got to be, right?
Yeah, I can't
It,
see, I can't see the way. in my opinion, like this is just my way of looking at it. You can correct me, obviously. It seems like Triple H is a lot more business oriented and treating the WWE more like a corporate business. And he knows that a corporate business can't have rotten parts, and CM Punk is rotten. So I don't think he's going to bring CM Punk back.
No,
And
he doesn't
none
like
of the
CM Punk. I mean it's well known among the wrestling fans and whatnot in the community that he doesn't like CM Punk anyway. So
none of the other smaller, if you want to call them smaller, television shows could afford him because he probably wants a pretty hefty paycheck.
yeah,
And
the only two that could would potentially be Impact or New Japan, and he's pretty much burned his bridges with Impact at one point too.
well, another, I'm thinking once again, I'm thinking that Triple H is trying to be a pretty savvy businessman. If CM Punk came to him and was, I'm just going to make up numbers, say he wants a $50,000 a match, and he's like, okay, look, I'll do it for $20,000 a match. Do you think that Triple H would bring him in for the cost benefit, or still be like, nah, even at that discount, I don't want you?
I don't think Triple H would bring him back just because he when I said he doesn't like him, he really doesn't like him.
Yeah.
The two of them almost got into a fight backstage at one point.
Well, there's been a lot of that in sports. You know, there's the couple bad guy in the locker room, but plays great on the field, so the team puts up with him. Then there's bad guy in the locker room that affects the play on the field, and the guys just got to get rid of him.
Yeah, well, they had to keep the two of them separated as far as the shows are concerned. If Triple H was on Raw, Punk had to be on SmackDown. If Punk was on Raw, Triple H had to be on SmackDown. They couldn't have them traveling on the same circuit and stuff because the only time that they were in the same arena at any one time was during a pay per view at one point because allegations are that Punk said some nasty shit about Stephanie, and Hunter didn't take too kindly to that. So again,
Is
that's
he still
still
married to Stephanie McMahon?
yes, he is.
She's cute. I wouldn't say she's like ultra super hot, but she's cute. She's an attractive woman. Last time I seen her anyway, it was so she might be old and haggard by now.
She hasn't aged that bad. But,
So basically, Triple H ain't getting fired when his wife's basically running the company, right?
his wife's the CEO, is the co-CEO of the company right now.
Any reports coming from the son? Seems like what's his face? What's the son's name?
Shane, no, then Shane's been quiet. There's nothing about him.
Yeah.
But got other news out of AEW. Hangman Adam Page was taking on John Moxley on Wednesday night. I don't know if you watched it this week or not. I know sometimes you watch the AEW stuff, Kingpin. But the two of them were fighting in the main event for the.
Oh man, hold up. I gotta get prepared because I can't have you tell me John Moxley's injured and he's gonna be
No,
out for a year.
no, not Moxley. Hangman.
Who cares?
Yeah, no. Moxley hit him with the clothesline bit where they clothesline you and you like do the flip and land on your belly. It was mistimed and Hangman landed right on his face.
Oh, better his face than his neck, like the back of his neck.
Not the way his neck snapped. He was out. The referee, and the doctor went right into the ring right away, and the ref and the doctor were trying to talk to him and everything, and the two of them consulted, and they called off the match right then and there, like mid match. So,
Well, think about that. Uh, it's football season, and Justin Tucker is the most prolific kicker in the history of football. But he misses. He misses. He does not make every single field goal his entire football career. You might lose a game over that. You might, go into the halftime down 3, or all the different scenarios. When these wrestlers make mistakes, it could be like fatal.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Olympic gymnasts. Them 15-year-old girls that are jumping 15 feet in the air and doing quadruple flips. If she comes down on her head, it could be all she broke.
Hmm. The good thing is, from reports, he only has a severe concussion because it could have been worse. The way he landed, he could have had a severe neck injury. So, but he's going to be out at least a couple of weeks. Like I said, he was out cold when that happened.
All right, we're going to do a little side tangent here for just a second. I heard this funny thing on the internet earlier. Uh, the context is not important. We can talk about that some other time. But if you have two choices to make, and you have to make one of them, every single time you get in your car for a year, that's 365 full days. Every single time you get in your car, you have to fight a chicken. Not Gizzard Gary, and not the one from Family Guy, but like a regular hen, or maybe even a rooster, but a chicken. Or once a year you have to fight a lion. Which one are you going to do?
Probably the chicken.
Yeah, I'll take the daily dose of chicken.
The context was there was a bunch of girls and a bunch of dudes sitting around. And when they were asked the question, all the dudes were like, chicken. And the chick was like, I'd fight a lion. And then everybody was like, are you crazy? You can fight a chicken, and maybe after a year you're severely injured after fighting a chicken 4 or 5 times a day. You die when you fight a lion once.
Yeah. Some people just don't have a brain in their head that's functional.
Gary wins the internet. I mean, Cluck Norris wins the internet tonight.
Uh,
Ha ha, Cluck North.
What time is the wrestling supposed to start? 8?
and yeah, they're on the pre-show right now. They're just running their mouths.
Yeah, let me know when it starts, and then I'll open that window up.
Yeah. Pre-show for the NXT things are usually only a half hour, so they're 10 minutes in now. Then like the main roster, this will probably run maybe 2.5 hours on like 4 hours for the main roster pay-per-views. Sorry. Thank you for saying any other real anything interesting news-wise. I really can't think of anything. I mean, there's been other stuff. Oh, Ric Flair. Yeah, Ric Flair just had that pay-per-view where it was his last match.
Yeah.
He was on somebody's podcast this week, and they asked him about it, and he said, "Well, never say never." About whether he would have another match or not. Like, oh
I
my
know
god.
it. I know it. I'm gonna go pull up some pictures off the YouTube. I could have swore. So let me open up another channel so I don't gotta close off the chat. Uh, they had two pictures in my recommended feed. Both of them were Ric Flair. Now they weren't right next to each other. One was like one corner, one was in the middle somewhere, and one they were both just Ric Flair standing there giving like a promo. And one of them, Ric Flair, looked white, and the other one, he looked like a black man. Like his tan was so deep, he looked like he was. I was like, "Who's that black guy?" Like, I'll see if I can find the picture. No, no.
And now they got a commercial on for the Saudi show in a couple weeks. I think it's a couple weeks. I have no idea what time it's going to be on because, Saudi Arabia.
They're doing a UFC fight. There's uh, Saudi Arabia right now, or today, something. I don't know.
We're going to see if they say what time it is. Live in 2 weeks, but it doesn't say what time. I think the week after the Saudi show is Full Gear for AEW. So we've got this month and the beginning of next month, or the next few weeks are going to be stacked with pay-per-views. Because then after the AEW pay-per-view, a week or two after that, you got Survivor Series. And at Survivor Series, they are doing War Games on the main roster. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. 'Cause they haven't done a War Games match on the main roster yet. They've only been doing those on NXT. It'd be nice if the pre-show. Remember, a couple of pay-per-views ago when they actually had a match on the pre-show for a WWE event? It'd be nice if they did that again.
Yeah, I guess we don't get enough pre-matches, huh?
Yeah. AEW's pay-per-views, they got so many matches on, they have no choice but to put them on the pre-show. Otherwise, their show wouldn't get over until 2 o'clock in the morning. The last pay-per-view had, 16 matches, I think we counted? The AEW one?
You think the Saudis would kidnap the wrestlers if Joe Biden screws up, relationships with them anymore?
Well, a few years ago, they had an event at Saudi Arabia, and the Saudis tried holding the wrestlers for ransom to get more money out of Vince McMahon, or some such nonsense. There was something that the king or prince, whoever the hell's in charge over there, was pissed about something, and he wasn't going to let the wrestlers leave on their plane. Vince and a couple of the other wrestlers, like Lesnar and stuff, had already left on his private jet. Apparently, Vince got the news as they were flying over the Atlantic that the wrestler's plane hadn't left, chartered plane hadn't left yet because the Saudis weren't letting them leave the airport. So I wouldn't put it past them. That answers your question.
I'll tell you what, if they allow the women to come over with their skimpy outfits, no, they're never coming back. They're being kidnapped.
Well, you know darn well they're going to wear the full bodysuits like they did the last time.
That's what I mean. If the Saudis are like, hey, send that Bianca Belair chick over there, although, most Arabs hate black people, but make sure she's got a real skimpy outfit on, then you know that she's getting kidnapped.
Well, they don't. The only thing they like black women for is sex slaves. And that goes back to Muhammad. So, that's always been a thing over there. But yeah, this ain't the night to get into the Islam thing. that could be a topic for tomorrow night.
Been in the range recently, Jason?
Nah, I've been too busy working, man. You got to go?
Yeah, I went last weekend, and it was pretty cool. I got to hang out with this chick and help her get used to shooting different guns and stuff. So that was nice. She was a nice person, friend of mine, and his wife works with her. I mean, it's a whole bunch of craziness, but she was pretty cool with shooting all kinds of different guns and being comfortable. So that was fun. I might go
Yeah.
tomorrow. I'm not sure.
I'd like to maybe go tomorrow because we got some nice weather today and tomorrow.
I haven't been able to get to the range. Her being back to work when she was out of work, she couldn't. She wasn't supposed to go anywhere very often, and then she went back to work with her work shift, and we just don't have the money for it right now either. So, you know, it's a catch-22 on that, I guess. Or, screwed if damned if you do, damned if you don't.
You live in like a suburb right now, like a
Who?
neighborhood with a bunch of houses around.
Who? Me?
Yeah.
No, I live right downtown, basically.
Oh, so you still live in like city limits then?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, so you going outside and shooting in your backyard? No, no.
yeah. Yeah. You don't do that. Any of the places that were outside of town that would have had any kind of property like that, we couldn't afford them. So, yeah, it would have been nice. Yeah, we've been there before where we had our own range outside, but that was when we did had internet that you couldn't do anything. Got 10 minutes to go, and they just went to a commercial. Yeah, at least it's for WWE's website there where they sell the T-shirts and stuff. Yeah, it's not trying to get you to buy a burger at Hardee's or some stupid shit. Yeah, I'll be right back. You guys hold the fort down.
I got a new one on the way, Kingpin.
Yeah, that was my next question. Have you had any new things come up on the radar yet?
Well, because I got rid of that Smith & Wesson 1911 that I had. So I had like what they call gun fund money on the account in the store. And it's actually been 2, 3 weeks or more, and nothing was really in there that I wanted that's catching my eye or anything. But I mean, there was still plenty of choices, something I could have got. And I was starting to think, well, I need to go get something another gun that I could put a red dot on. And I was willing to go for a plastic gun. I was looking at these Canics and a few other things I thought I'd try out. And then I stopped there one night, and they had another one in Colt Pythons like I got. So, I like to have two of everything at least. So I got another one of them Pythons coming, but my only disappointment is I went to the place that made the grips for the other one that I got, And they said things are slow, and they want like 12 weeks to get me a pair of grips.
You say 20 weeks?
12,
Oh, jeez, man.
3 months. Yeah, but I only waited about like a month or so last time. But I mean, I guess they're handmade and stuff, so I
Yeah.
guess I'll give them time. I guess.
Plus, if it's quality and it's worth waiting for.
Yeah, I just I like having two. You got two hands, you might as well have two matching guns.
Yeah.
Plus, I need to do a lot more work with my left hand, so two guns at a time, two nice revolvers. That works for me. Plus, that was the first gun I bought at the beginning of the year, so I'm closing out the end of the year with the same thing. But
Bookends.
yeah, just the last few years things have been slowing down really, and I did get last year, but this year I didn't get myself very many new firearms this year, not very many at all. But I like the ones that I got though. But just kind of been in one of them ruts, man, where nothing new really excites me. Not really interested in anything. You know what I mean? And just I needed another revolver, so this will keep me happy for a little bit.
I have a hard time uh, matching dates and times. For instance, like most people know, oh, I was 13 years old. I was in fifth grade in June and stuff like that. I couldn't tell you how old I was when I was in 10th grade, first grade, none of that kind of stuff. I don't know what year I was in first grade, none of that. So I can't put dates and stuff like that together. So I couldn't tell you if I bought a gun in 2022 or not. I don't even remember the last gun that I bought. I do know I'm not going to buy anything until next year, but my problem is motivation and stuff like that because from where I live at, there's a gun store that I like to go to maybe 20 minutes up the road. Like I'll pass it tomorrow on the way to the range. Uh, but getting there before it closes is usually problematic. And then if I'm not working on a Saturday, the last thing I want to do is get up and go anywhere. And they don't put pictures of their inventory online, so I have no idea what they got until I get up there. Now, generally, the store that I go to has, I don't know, 30, 40 pistols, and I don't really care about the rifle racks. Their rifles they generally sell pistols, so they kind of have sporadic rifles on the wall. And out of the 30, 40 pistols that they got, 10 of them are worth taking home. But then there's sometimes that there's 20 of them worth taking home, and then there's sometimes that there's none. And I convince myself, like if I get off early on a Friday, I convince myself that if I go all the way up to the gun store, they ain't gonna have nothing, and I just wasted a trip.
Yeah, I turned down one a couple weeks ago that yeah, maybe I should have jumped on it, but man, I really couldn't afford it right now. I couldn't put this one in layaway. But my dealer had a M1 carbine. It was in beautiful, perfect shape. It was made by Rockola. Those are the rare ones, I'm pretty sure. The Rockola jukebox company made like the fewest amounts, compared to like Winchester and people like that. So I know the Rockolas fetched a premium. And this was a nice little rifle. I mean, man, they're small though. I got a couple Ruger 1022s that are M1 carbine replicas. And man, believe it or not, I mean, them 1022s are about the same size as them M1 carbines. They are a small little gun, and I liked it a lot. But oh, geez, it was 1600, 1800, something along those lines. And it was one where I could only put it on layaway for a month because it was a consignment. You don't want to keep the original owner waiting 3 months for his money. You know what I mean? So I had to pass on that one. But Other than that, I just haven't come across anything. My dealer is packed to the gills, but there's just nothing grabs my interest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, rifles don't really do it for me. Like if you put an SKS, a Mosin, and an M1 Grand out on the table, I couldn't tell you which one was which without basically getting lucky. Uh, I want to build a couple more ARs, but I don't really want to get into three, four, five more different calibers. And I also don't want to have 6.5.56 ARs laying around. You know, uh, not that there's a problem with it. I mean, that's what, but I just don't want to do that. So I tend to buy more pistols anyway.
Yeah, I have a lot more pistols than rifles, but sometimes, man, I'm really attracted to those, old military surplus. You know what I mean? I think they're cool. I know the values of most of them. Uh, I would like to have. I thought I'd always like to have an M1, but I don't know. You have problems with ammo and things getting them for that. Plus, it's a gun that you really don't want to go out and just like beat up or wear out or anything. They're more conversation pieces. Shoot now and then or something. But I'd still like to have one. I'll probably never see another M1 Rockola, and I should have bought it for that reason. But I just couldn't pull it off this time, man. But if there's, I'm not the biggest rifle guy either, like you. But if my store gets a lever gun or they got something cool, old military, man, I usually try to snag it up.
I'm also not going to buy a safe. You know, I'm an outlier, like most of my little weird, quirky things. But I think safe companies should go out of business. If you're buying three, four, or five different safes, that you're not a very intelligent person. Uh, so rifles take up a lot of space. Space is what I don't have a lot of. Pistols, I can pack a whole bunch of pistols in a small space and still be able to enjoy them all. When I get into my rifles, I gotta, get them all out and put them all back and do all the. I can take five handguns to the range. If I take five rifles to the range, that means I gotta break out my cart and drag it all up and down.
Yeah, I got a. I hate to say it or anything, but I could really need to stop buying guns and buy a couple better safes for next year, or one great big one. But you mentioned like the Mosin rifles. I got like three of them that I ended up only had two at the time. I took them out of a safe and then have a third one, and I don't even have them in safes right now because they're too long. I mean, the safe that I was trying to gonna put them in, they're too tall, man. You have to cut some holes or take out the top shelf in it. That's how long those rifles are, man. They're a bitch. If you got a safe, it's just like an inch or two shorter than like the common size, like a cheap safe. Mosin rifles won't fit in there, man.
Uh,
Look, go ahead, Rich.
I was gonna say I'm back, and the main show's getting ready to start.
Chucky.
Real quick. What other industry would you accept that in? If you went out to the car dealership and the guy was showing you this excursion, he was like, "This will see 15 people." 15 full-grown NFL football players. And you're like, yeah, that's awesome. And as soon as you get it home, you put two kids in it, and you're like, oh, I need another one. Because this kid's wearing a book bag and has got some Yeezys on, and this other one, has a clarinet that she's got to carry with her. You wouldn't accept that kind of stuff. You know, if you went and bought a 12-pack of soda, and then when you open it up, there was only two sodas in there, you'd be like, oh, okay, I got ripped off. You'd go back to the store. But yet you buy a 64 gun safe that fits 40 guns, maybe.
Well, they never said it was going to fit 40 rifles, 64 rifles. That's where they
Yeah.
get you.
Now look, I'm completely understanding. If you've got like for instance, Squib. Squib's got some milsurp stuff that's probably kind of valuable, and he wants to keep it in good. So if you put 3 or 4 of them in a safe to make sure, like if your house catches on fire or floods or something like that, your investments, your collection doesn't get destroyed. I get that, but if you just got a basic regular everyday collection and you don't live in an apartment building, take a closet in your room in your house somewhere and build a safe in the closet instead of buying a $500, 3,000 pound safe and having your entire house full of safes.
Yeah, it kind of sucks about a safe is like none of them are big enough, and you end up with two because if you take a safe and you try dividing it up and putting some rifles in it and some handguns, it just ends up being like wasted space. You don't have enough room for either one of them. So you kind of just end up with a safe for handguns and a safe for rifles. So, see, they trick you into spending twice as much.
What in the hell?
Who's these two chicks?
Only one of them is. The other one's.
They both got boobs, right? Did you just assume?
No, did you not hear when the other one was speaking? That belt is pretty.
Oh, hey man, this don't look like a very big crowd.
Oh no, this is at NXT isn't a touring brand. They're doing a show from the same studio they do the regular weekly show. This little like set studio, whatever you want to call it, it's part of the performance center where they do the training and stuff down in Orlando.
Oro? Is that what they said his name was?
I think they said Oro.
I don't think I ever heard of that before.
Nope, can't say I have either. I mean, is he supposed to be some kind of genius with the last name Mensa? That's all I want.
North American Championship, huh?
Yeah,
Do they have a South American Championship?
no. Maybe there's some South American federation that might, now that I think about it, but none of the major federations do. Okay.
Okay, am I the only one that thought both them bottles were empty?
Because they were. Oh, you're a ladder. No, you ain't.
Careful! Dum dum.
Oh, ouch.
They're gonna end up breaking the ladders as they need to climb up.
And they're gonna break the ladders with their faces.
That was a decent move, man. Flip around to the kick to the back of the head.
Mm-hmm. If he lost the ladder match, I guess he doesn't. Oh, not does he?
But I felt pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Night night.
Down goes Frazier.
Yeah. Almost looked like if there would have been a regular match, he may have gone into like a crossface or something with that move. Ow! Who do you think got the
Ha
worst
ha
of that one?
ha!
God, my tailbone hurts just seeing that shit. Oh, why would you run at somebody holding a ladder like that? Ooh. Another one of those who got the worst of that moments. match is no DQ, so.
We'll go up there and get it, man. Everybody else is knocked out.
Oh, he's not officially in the match. He's getting the big boy ladder.
She can't get it out from underneath them.
Not without hitting the
Look, he's
fans.
hitting people in the stands.
That
Dude's
kid's
just
trying to get
hanging
called
out.
up. That Fraser kid's trying to get called up after this event. Good lord. He's throwing himself around this ring. You'd think the winner of the match got an instant call up to Raw tomorrow, on Monday night or something. He can't even get it in the ring. That's one way to get him through the announce table, I guess.
Special delivery, airmail.
Yeah, I think it's the first time I've ever seen somebody do that. I can't remember anybody doing that before. I think Book has said the same thing about everybody in this match so far. Yeah,
That ladder ain't big enough to get up
no,
there with.
maybe if it was Omos. That was creative use of the ladder leaning against the ropes. Oh, drop kick knee and face off the ladder. She got lawn darted. Oh, oh.
Well, man, I thought that wasn't too bad. I thought the guys worked together pretty good. I saw a lot of creative use of the ladder, not used to seeing. I thought they all used the ladders pretty well. So, man, that was kind of entertaining. Maybe a little long, but that was pretty entertaining, man. So I'm going to give that one like an 8.
All right, what do you think, Kingpin?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and run it on up to uh the you could see that they're not professionals. I mean, you know what I mean. They're you can tell that they're amateurs. That's the word I'm looking for. Because they take a lot of time between moves and are kind of like goofy in some of the setups. But as they got rolling, they smoothed that out quite a bit. They did a lot of really good teamwork, like Jason said. I've never seen a ladder break in half. Uh, that was amazing when those dudes broke that ladder in half. I've never seen anything like that. And when that guy did the Hulk Hogan to Rocky Balboa and threw him halfway across the stadium, I've never seen nothing like that in real life. I mean, I saw it in the movies, but Hulk Hogan didn't really do that. That guy really just did that. Uh, they laid it on the line. Like the announcer said, I think that they really put it out there. So I'm going to go ahead and give them a good. I'm going to go ahead 8.5.
Yeah, there's just something about the mass chaos of a multi-person ladder match. You gotta say multi-person now because they do have them with the women now too, as we saw at Money in the Bank, where we gave that match the highest rating of the night. So there's just something about the chaos of those matches. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Kingpin. I'm gonna say 8.5 on that one.
You know, I was thinking of Rocky too when that dude threw that dude. As Rich put it, lawn darted him. That's what I was thinking of too, man. Thunder Lips.
What are they trying to sell you in this commercial?
Uh,
I guess the network.
Cable. Hell yeah, casket match.
At first, I thought it was an Undertaker match or some shit. The Druid's coming out and shit.
They're coming to get you, Barbara. I guess D. Snyder don't want to fight.
What's Halloween without a haunted house?
I thought something else was starting to poke out the wall.
She's just beating up all the actors. He didn't say her name. You okay?
I'm pretty pissed off right now.
Why?
That was terrible.
Chucky's voice don't sound right.
Did you just say an eye for an eye?
Mm-hmm. It's okay. It's not Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins. There's not going to be a ping pong ball eye.
Knocked himself out giving an elbow? What the hell?
This Waller guy does a better Austin Theory than Austin Theory does.
Wasn't Halloween Havoc like NWA or WCW or something like that back in the day?
Yeah, it's WCW.
I need to file a lawsuit.
Vince bought WCW. They had WWE owns the rights to all those old pay-per-view names. Um, they need a new casket.
You can't close the lid now.
You can't close the lid if there ain't a lid.
And here comes the Undertaker. Hey, in the white guy's defense, they make them anime women look pretty hot.
Cameraman almost messed that up.
You guys see the Scooby Doo cast in the front row?
I really wasn't paying attention to the crowd.
Yep, right there, just before he threw him in the ring. If you went a little further to the left, you'll see Thelma, Daphne, Scooby, and the whole crew.
Rob's out there in the chat.
I guess you got yourself an R&L discount code now.
Yep. Did they
YouTube's an
bring a?
interesting place, man. I just went back and I read some of the comments on Rob's last video about the girl doing the work, and some people just don't know how to take a joke, man. Okay, I make a prediction. They're both going to get in there. The door's going to get closed. When they open it, neither one of them is going to be inside the casket. Prediction.
It is a big coffin. Back in the day, they'd have had a real casket too, not plywood.
Oh,
That was a pretty cool variation of the tombstone.
I hope the dude don't run out of air inside the box.
Okay. What did you think of that one?
Well, man, I mean, I know the guys did a good job, but I got a little tired on this one. They drug this match out a little too long. So, man, I can only give this one a 5. It may deserve better, but I'll just give this one a 5.
Kingpin?
All right. I'm going to have to go. Oh, man. If I was going just based on the wrestling, I'd probably go like 6.5. But since I've got to base it on the entire entertaining event of that match specifically, it's going to drop down to a 4. Um, my biggest thing so far with this whole NXT is their production level looks really, really, really crappy. And I get it. You can go with a looking like low production, but still have high production value. So if they're looking to have a low budget look, it looks like they're paying for a low budget look too.
Yeah, I think part of the problem with the match was what they had on right before the match with that stupid haunted house crap. I think that brought down the match as well. So yeah, I'm gonna go
Yeah,
with Jason. Give it a 6.
I give it a 5.
Oh, 5.
Yeah, but
So
yeah, I'm
yeah,
ready for a
it's
real match, man. I mean, we had a ladder match, grabbed the belt from the ceiling. We had that Halloween house, which was kind of cool. I mean, you know, it been well like it was. It wasn't really wrestling. It was just kind of like something to watch in between the matches. So that was like kind of okay. But then they just had this one with the cast. I want to see a good old fashioned match, man. I want to see a couple people battle it out, and it takes a pin. 1, 2, 3. I'm just waiting for that. Maybe they won't have that tonight. I don't know. But overall, I think this show's okay. I like when the crowd's chanting and getting involved. You know, they got the lights and the smoke effects and stuff going. It's okay. Hasn't none of these guys jumped out yet to I would think will be a big time star, maybe other than that great big dude that was in the ladder match. But they're doing all right. I've seen worse wrestling, so I don't know. I think they're just taking each match just a few minutes too long. You know what I mean?
Plus, you can clearly tell we're watching a WWE event because there's been more commercials and
mm-hmm.
non-wrestling action than wrestling action.
Yeah. Whereas when we watch an AEW, it's like going to a Ramones concert. It's one match into the next, into the next, and the next. You know,
Well,
no
that kind of goes
stopping.
back to my production level thing. If you're gonna be like WWE and have a lot of the soap opera part, which I get, people like that and it's fun and it's entertaining and it builds up stories and all that, and you want to keep it low budget because you're you're goofing around, you're having fun. Uh, you still gotta you still gotta bring it up a little bit. Like the ghost house that they went through. I got a guy that lives down the street that does his yard for every holiday, and I guarantee that his front yard is a lot scarier than that was.
When you said production, I thought you said like the camera work around the ring and stuff. There's something you got to remember with those guys. They're all people that are in training too. Everybody that works at NXT, except for the people running the place, they're all learning, right? It's not just the wrestlers that are learning. You got the sound guys, the video guys, the camera operators. They're all learning the job on the job, basically.
Yeah, and I understand that. That's why, like you called out the spot where the cameraman almost missed the flip off the steps.
Mm-hmm.
And I can give you a pass on that because I understand people are learning. You know, it's quick paced, different things happen. Uh, and I'm okay even with the cameraman like wobbling the camera around a little bit and like showing the crowd like bad angles. You know, I'm okay with that because it's kind of like a B movie. People love B movies because you can see the string on the spaceship.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So if they wanted to go that route, that'd be good. But when the cameraman kind of goes a little too high, the lights that they've got blur out, like flood the camera with that 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 fake, fluorescent light, and it looks kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just, I mean, I couldn't do it. I couldn't be a producer or anything like that. So I'm just being picky as a consumer. Yeah, from the camera angle that we're watching at, like if you're looking at the ring and nobody's standing in the ring, if you go to your upper left hand corner of your screen, which would be like the back left hand corner of the ring, right there on the front row, you'll see the five people dressed up like the.
Yeah, I saw them after you pointed out
Okay,
where they were at.
right.
Now, I was
That's what.
looking for him. You said the left side of the ring.
Yeah,
Okay.
from the camera angle that we usually look at, like when they're introducing and they're showing from the camera angle. If you look
Yeah.
in the upper left hand corner of your screen in the front row, you'll see the Scoopy people.
Okay, cool. Cause that's cool. That's why I didn't see him. Cause I was looking around, but I was mainly looking over toward the right.
Bon appetit, Rob.
Right, so right back there, Jason. I don't know if you could, but
Yeah,
there's
over
glares
by
that
the
camera was.
corner they usually get in.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll keep watching. Oh no, a skateboarder.
They're both pretty cute. I think the one in the black hats with the baseball bat's a little bit prettier.
Damn, treat her just like Kyle.
Now, if she's about it, she'll hit her with the trucks, not just the back of the skateboard. Oh man, I was so hoping that they would do that. I'm very pleased. I was hoping they'd do that.
The crazy thing is, Rey Mysterio does that without having a skateboard.
Yeah, that's one of my wrestling fantasies, is to be able to run up and slide in the ring like the wrestlers do.
Oh, I see the Scooby people. They're out there. They wearing like orange and teal,
Uh huh.
blue. Okay. Oh, I see the animal head there or whatever.
She went to protect her head too soon. Booker may be a little biased in this match, by the way. He trained the girl in white.
Yeah, a bunch of that didn't feel good.
Mm-mm. Oof. Replay made it even worse.
Oh, Dan giving her the border patrol.
10 count.
Damn, the bitch went all violent and shit.
Hey, Abby.
What's up happening? What's happening, Abigail?
You want to try that again, Kingpin? We could
Hey, Abby.
rewind and you could.
I was still chewing my cookies, and I was trying to say, "What's up, Abigail?" And that was like a tongue twister.
That's why you don't talk with your mouth full.
Yeah, no, I apologize, Rick. I called Rick out earlier today for that.
She, she took off into the crowd.
This is something I'm surprised we haven't seen more of, considering it's such a small, intimate crowd. You'd figure they'd have more action in the audience.
Yeah, you're right.
hmm Yeah, that stage right there looks like the same one they used during COVID when they had Rob Gronkowski co-hosting the one thing and he threw somebody off of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it don't look that high off the from the other Kangle angle. Jesus Christ, the other camera angle. I just think throw her off there.
Jesus, Jason, you're not even eating cookies.
Yeah, the Kangle angle. You know what I
Kanko
mean?
angle.
Do it, do it. Kick her in the stomach.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, that they're dead.
Holy shit.
Now, see, if they were on a different level or men, they'd have did more of a dramatic exit off the top of that. But since they're amateurs and they're women, they had to take basically the safest route. I mean, I still tip of the hat for them for doing that. But I mean, it shows where they're at in their career.
Ouch.
So the
Oh
white girl
God!
screwed the little Asian girl over. Is that what happened?
Yeah, something like that.
Damn, it got like all personal and emotional and shit.
The only thing they didn't do was bleed in the match. Did everything else. But this is WWE, and they don't bleed like they do over in AEW. She's only like 19 or 20 years old, too.
I noticed that.
Yeah, she's fairly young.
All right, man. I'm gonna be a little more nicer to that match. Uh, I thought they did okay. One girl's definitely fucking cute as hell. The one with the tattoos and the tennis shoes. Uh, I liked it. It wasn't too bad. They did all right. Uh, kind of entertaining. Uh, like Kingpin said, I don't really see why they don't go in the small crowd more than they did. But I was hoping they'd jump off that top, and they did, so that made me happy. So I'm gonna give these girls like a. I'm gonna give them like a 7 on this one.
Right? What do you think, Kingpin?
Uh, as far as the whole thing goes, at the end, when the cameraman was like wobbling the camera all over the place, that was great. That was awesome. I love that. That got him a whole point in the whole match. That camera at the end where it was all, you know, amateur and goofy, really did it for me. So that got him one solid point there. The rest of the match gives him a 5, so that's a 6 total. Uh, you can see what, like I said before, they're early in their careers apparently, and you can see. I think that they worked well together. I will be critical. I do think that the white girl is probably more talented and more suited to the wrestling. The Hispanic girl or Asian girl or whatever she is, Rosa Perez. I think she's a little too small. I do have a problem with the really, really tiny female wrestlers, but she did fairly well. I think the other girl did better. And now that I know that the white girl was the bad one, the bad friend, I understand why they let the Spanish chick win. So I'll give them a 6 total.
Whoa, wait a minute. I thought one girl was Spanish and one girl was Asian.
No, they're both Spanish. Actually, the girl that was wearing white, I think she's Spanish and Asian. I could be wrong. So I mean, because she did kind of have like Asian-like eyes, you know.
Well, and I also don't have a problem brushing with broad, bigoted strokes. You know, I really don't care. So that's why I called the one girl a white girl and the other girl, I almost called her a Mexican, but I decided to call her Hispanic instead.
No, you called her Spanish.
Okay,
Yeah,
so the one you like the best and thinks has a career ahead of her more than the other one. You like the girl with the tattoos.
yeah, the girl that had
Okay.
the black outfit on and the tattoos. Yeah, the thinner, taller girl,
Yeah.
the one
That's
that
the one
lost
I.
the match.
That's the one I thought did a little better too.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep in mind, like I was saying, the girl that was wearing white's only like 19 or 20. She's got a lot of time to where she can improve and get better. So interesting to see where. where she goes and her.
The only problem is she needs to get a little taller, and I don't know if
Yeah,
that's
I
going
don't
to
think.
happen.
Well, not Alexa Bliss isn't that tall. Alexa Bliss is like 5 foot tall. So I
Yeah,
mean,
5 feet of dynamite,
uh,
5 feet of fury. Damn, how much royalty did they have to pay the Chucky people for having Chucky I've never seen?
well, that's a cross promotion because Peacock just came out with a Chucky series.
There's a new Chucky?
Yeah, they did. Peacock has a TV series about Chucky, so they're doing cross promotion with that.
I will say I'm enjoying Booker T being one of the announcers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Booker's doing a good job.
Well, Booker's always done a good job when he was on the announce desk.
Jeez, here's a crazy chick. What the hell is this?
Mm-hmm. She could be the tattooed lady in the carnival.
She's got the body, but the face just don't keep up.
What the?
Okay, Abigail, I'm going to explain to you what's going on here. There's a little, I don't know, there's some weird looking chick with a big butt and some nice boobs dressed like Beetlejuice in the middle of the ring doing a bunch of talking. And she's just called out a big fat black girl dressed like a banana to be her partner.
The biggest goddamn banana you ever saw.
No, you don't get it. That is a guy. It's a the whole character. Cause I know this from the comment section in the chats because I don't watch NXT usually. It's a guy whose gimmick is that he thinks he's a woman, and he calls himself a diva. It's,
That's kind of like Rhea Ripley.
Medina?
hey, you're gonna offend Abby now. She's just said it. Rhea
Well,
Ripley's
if
her
that's a
favorite.
dude, he's got bigger boobs than the other two real girls out there.
Have you not seen the Canadian guy, teacher who is wearing a woman's suit to prove a point? he's up. He's up here in Canada as a teacher wearing this woman's suit. You know, like a fat suit with these gigantic tits on it to prove a point about something up there. I forget what it was, but it's something about the transsexuals and stuff, and he's proving a point, trying to prove a point to people by wearing that while teaching.
No. I would say no. The banana lady boy is not hot.
No, absolutely not.
We're not even rating that, right? That wasn't like a real
No,
nice
we're not
one.
rating
Okay.
that. Unless you want to. I mean, you can give it a rating if you want.
It would be like 1 or something. So. No, Abigail, the banana lady was not hot. It was like a 300-pound guy, I guess,
Hmm.
acting like a lady.
If they're gonna run 15 minutes worth of commercials, could you mute it, please?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what WWE does. They run commercials during the pay-per-views.
Yeah, it's sad because that car commercial's like 2 years old.
Uh, 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 Obviously, we don't know each other personally, Abby, just from the chats, but I do feel comfortable enough to say that I know that you're into, what's the word I'm looking for? Less than ordinary things. You're not intrigued. The banana suit thing
No,
is not what you're looking for.
no,
Just
I'm
take it
not.
from me. Take it from me, girl. I got your back. The banana suit thing ain't what you're looking for.
Nope.
Unless go look up Biggie Smalls, the rapper, and then imagine him
I
in a
was gonna
banana
say
suit.
Bismarcky, but yeah, that'll work too.
Yeah, put them in black spandex with
Banana
like
suit.
puffy banana suit, middle and a banana suit cap head thing on. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Whoa, 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 whoa! What was that they were doing there? Was that like a hockey stick or something? And it had a bunch of shot glasses on it, and
It
all the
was a
people
ski.
took a shot glass at once.
Yeah, yeah, it was a ski. Everybody, you never seen that before?
Nah, that was new to me. So.
That's a rich white thing.
Oh, okay. Well, that's why I didn't know.
Nah, it's like a
Not like our
college
buddy
student
Rich
type
White, like
thing.
a rich white thing.
But you can do that with like a 2x4 and stuff too. It's just got to be a long piece of wood that has the shot glasses like glued to it.
That would be a redneck thing.
Yeah, around here, man, we just stab your beer for pocket knife.
Shotgun it.
My friends used to go around and you take the bottom of your beer bottle and tap the top of somebody else's beer bottle, and it would cause the beer to foam up and shoot all out the top. One time, my buddy tried that and he tapped the guy's beer bottle, and the bottom of the beer bottle just collapsed and all of it went right on the floor.
My wife was cooking something one day, and she picked up. Remember the old glass bottles of vinegar before they started putting it all in those plastic jugs and stuff? She picked up the glass bottle of the vinegar, and the bottom just fell off the bottle. And vinegar went everywhere.
Yeah,
Smelled.
that the bottom of glass bottles failing probably happens a lot more than you would think.
Yeah. The apartment smelled like vinegar for like 4 days.
Yeah, I think Rhea Ripley is definitely more of an acceptable version of interesting than the banana suit person.
Oh, and wow, yeah, that just tells you how bad the banana was. Oh, that chick looked pretty badass. Who was that? The chick had the chains around her?
I don't.
Huh, I guess I ain't gonna show her again, but how'd you see her? She was strong as hell. Oh shit, they in Chicago? Baltimore?
All right, so for what I'm gaining from what we're seeing here is the two white dudes and the black dude were buddies and, kicked everybody's butt and everybody loved them. And then the black dude stabbed the two white guys in the back. Now they're going to fight.
Yeah, basically that's what it's looking like.
Damon.
Did you notice that ambulance said call for help and it was like a full phone number? It wasn't like 911 or nothing. It was a full phone number.
That was pretty fun.
So far, it seems like it's a good thing, Abby. She was asking what we think about Triple H taking over.
See that? It says dial. You gotta do the area code, the phone number, and everything. Dial 407 730 7999. Oh, an ambulance match.
Mm-hmm. Foam pumpkin, yeah, that's gonna hurt him.
Do a pumpkin decoration.
We're going the wrong way. Or are they? Usually the ambulance is at the other end of the arena. Just throwing everything out of the
Just
ambulance.
shit. I was gonna say I haven't seen a match in a long time where the guys just threw shit at each other.
Owie. That couldn't have felt good.
That dude better get out of the way of that.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, is this racism that we're seeing here? Wheelchair, crutches. It's got to be like some kind of disability racism.
Oh, first time I've seen that in a match.
No, just grab him in the wheelchair and take the whole wheelchair to the ambulance.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give him some originality though, man. Pinned in the wheelchair because a crutch is stretched through the armrest. That,
A
oh,
seatbelt.
yeah.
Yeah,
Safety first.
exactly.
You know, if Stone Cold was here, he'd have just drove the ambulance down to the ring.
Pick up a table and hit him with it.
Okay, throwing that ring bell, that could have been pretty dangerous.
that hurt.
Ooh.
Oh, that hurt.
Oh, again. Man.
Yeah, he's bringing out some whoop ass now.
He has no aim when throwing stuff, though. He's thrown how many things and missed every time. Guess that's why he was a wrestler and not a football player, huh? They may take him straight to the hospital. Uh-oh, there's the two chicks from the haunted house.
Yeah, here's the Range Rover. Hey, you looking good. Perfect timing.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh, no referee.
The person responsible for controlling the two savages in the ring is the weakest person of all.
Uh-huh. You sneeze on a referee and you almost kill him.
Damn, you think they're happy about it?
Okay, what do you think of that?
All right, well, I'll give the ambulance match a 5 because we didn't get to that. They brought this up. Uh, this match here, it's on the level of a 5 for me, but that chick who won that chap, she's pretty damn pretty, and I'll give these two credit. Like for a women's match, they went at it. It wasn't like the other ones where they get kicked out and they look all stunned or looking at the audience and stalling and everything. There wasn't none of that in this match, man. They did pretty good, really. Uh, Classic setup at the end with the ref and everything. So, but not too bad. So I'll give the girls a 6.
What do you think, Kingpin?
The ambulance match, I thought was pretty decent. I'll give that a 5 as well. I think it ended a little bit climactic. I do think that they used a lot of interesting stuff. The whole wheelchair thing that Jason pointed out with the crutch safety belt was really cool. So it was a good 5. Uh, if I'm putting all of this girls match together, it's still getting a 0 because of the whole original thing. But I'm willing to separate that because I did say that they could redeem themselves if the match itself is better. And I saw those two ladies, they're talented because they were doing a lot of the big men's finishing moves, like
Mm-hmm.
moves you see Roman Reigns doing and stuff like that. And they pulled them off really well. They worked really well together in the ring. I really, really enjoyed the fact that her friend showed up at the end and saved her day. Uh, After all they had been through and stuff like that, they were still down for their girl and they still, came in and helped her cheat. I thought that that was all pretty good. And I see a definite potential for very soon those two girls stabbing her in the back. Because she'll be like, I'm the best and I win and I win. And I'll be like, oh, we cheat for you every time. That's why you win. So I'll give the girls' match a 6 as well. And it's a high 6, a very respectful 6.
Yeah, those two aren't just starting like everybody else is either. You could see it, though they were much more polished in what they were doing. Because Mandy Rose has been on. That's the one that is the champion. She was on the main roster. They sent her back down to NXT to work with the younger people. And the other one, she's a veteran, having wrestled all over the world in different federations over in Japan and Europe and whatnot. So those two, they're not as much starting out as they're there working with the younger people and whatnot. So, and you can, like I said, you could see it in the moves they were doing, and everything, and the way they moved in the ring. They were much more polished than some of the other ones were. But yeah, I'll give along that same line. I'll give that one like a 6.5. But I'll be right back. I gotta get something to drink. I gotta refill my cup. So
Did you notice, Jason, that the two girls that just wrestled didn't have a whole lot of that? You kicked out of the pin, so I looked stunned at the camera for 25 minutes with my mouth agape.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was trying to get at, man. They didn't do any of that. Uh,
I think both of them are very, very talented. I think they did an excellent professional level job.
yeah, yeah. If any of them's gonna move up to the higher ranks, it'd be them. Uh, yeah, I thought they did a fine job. Like I said, I get tired of that. What you're talking about, that stunned look and looking at the crowd all the time, everything. Just because you clotheslined them doesn't mean you knocked them out. But I get tired of that. Once now and then, at the right timing, that works. But a lot of them girls get out there and just do it over and over and over and over. Kind of runs the match.
One of the things I liked about that specific match, the choreography went well together because there was a lot of fighting, like punching each other and grabbing each other's hair, and that transitioned well into a lot of the big power slams and excuse me, big power slams and different stuff like that. And you notice they also didn't take a lot of time either. Like they moved from move to move really smooth.
And really, they weren't that bad at like their acting or whatever when they were at the haunted house. You know what I mean? So like, they have entertainment. Talent. All of them, even like her friends there helped her out. I thought they did all right, man. For this being the newbies, them guys kind of do better than the big league girls do.
Yeah, I'd agree. Definitely, especially for that match. Well, going back to the haunted house thing, I think that goes as far as their budget and their talent level. Uh, they probably got 15 people in the props department, and they just accepted everything that the props people made. You know, but they also don't have that giant budget either.
Well, if that chick left the keys in that Range Rover, it's gone.
Right. Yeah. See, I don't know. That whole looking back at how good the match actually was, that whole build up seemed like way too much. Even though I do, like I said, I think one of the highlights of the match were her friends coming in at the end and helping cheat.
Yeah, I maybe should have gave a little bit more for the ambulance match because that was pretty good when that dude got his finger slammed in there. But I don't know. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've seen a match where they were just throwing stuff at each other. You know what I mean? I kind of started losing it on that, and just the way they didn't have like a very good place, to get them to the ambulance. It was kind of just like whatever the building, had to offer right there. They didn't really do it up too great, so they just stuck some office chairs out there and a laundry basket and stuff. I just didn't really care for the ambulance part, but should have gave it maybe a little more for the fingers and like it pumped that dude up, got his adrenaline going, then he whooped some ass. I mean, he damn near beat the dude to death with that chair, but it just wasn't wrestling. You know what I mean? There was just too much throwing stuff at each other. I mean, it's one thing to throw stuff at, but they weren't hitting each other. You know what I mean? They were just, it was like kids throwing a tantrum or something.
That's one of the big problems I have with the white girl and the Mexican girls match. Is there were so many props. Like the skateboard, the Mexican girl was swinging the skateboard like a girl. Like, come on, you look stupid doing that. Put the skateboard down. And then the white girl was swinging the broomstick like a girl.
Yeah, it's definitely been a prop filled evening all the way from 20 ladders to broomsticks, chairs, ambulances, ball bats, sticks. Yeah, this has been a. I don't know. They should just advertise it as that. It seems like almost every match is like a no disqualification.
Well, that's why it's Halloween Havoc, man.
Oh, really? Okay, I get it now then. But there's definitely been a lot of props.
This match should be good. All three of the guys in this match are good, so
That
this should
blonde
be a
haired
good one.
chick's title is a nice looking belt too. The white with the silver
Yeah,
design.
that's yeah. NXT has probably the best looking belts in the WWE. Hands down. All the belts in NXT look better than what the main roster belts do.
Is this dude dressed like a playing card? What the hell?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I just had the funniest racist joke, which I can't say on Rich's channel because he'll get pissed off at me. But man, oh dude, it was funny.
This dude's off his rocker.
You know, we talked about the guy that's the son of Rick Steiner. That's him.
What's that, Rich?
The guy with the belt, that's Rick Steiner's kid.
I was gonna say that he's a pretty big dude and he's got that mean, tough look.
And
You
he's
know, I mean,
got
like
that
when you
blue
look at
and
his
yellow
face.
Michigan shit. So I hope he gets beat down bad. Bad. I mean, take his knee out, man. Get rid of him. That dude looks like Chris Benoit right there. I'd be scared of that dude.
That guy looks like the guy Tom Cochran that sings "Life Is a Highway." That belt doesn't look all that great.
No, that looks weird.
I said better than what's on the main roster. I didn't say it was the best looking belt in pro wrestling. Come on now.
Oh no, I get it. I was just mentioning that belt specifically was ugly, but the women's belt specifically was very nice.
Yeah. In a triple threat match, why would you stop the other guy from beating up the other guy?
These Michigan people, I don't know.
Could you imagine if humans were really this tough and they could take a beating like that? Plus, you also got to imagine how rough it is on the person giving the beating.
That's why back in the old days you had the guys using rest holds like headlocks and stuff. It's just,
That's what I'm saying. Like, if we were watching a UFC event and this was a real fight and these guys were doing this to each other, both of them would be dead by the end of the match.
uh-huh. It also says something about the conditioning methods and stuff that they use now. Yeah, back in the old days, I don't know if they could got themselves conditioned enough to where they would throwing themselves around the ring constantly like they do today. I mean, you hardly ever see somebody using a rest hold anymore. You know what I mean?
I understand. I understand. Basketball, you move a lot. I understand hockey personally. There's a lot of pads on. There's a lot of different stuff going on. You got to constantly move. That's a lot of athleticism involved. Football, same kind of situation. But these professional wrestlers, especially like Rich was saying, these days, the athletic ability is just off the charts. And the endurance level is crazy.
Man, I came across a new sport the other day. The LFL. You ever heard of that?
Mm-mm.
It. I thought it was gonna be the ladies football league, but it turns out it's called the lingerie football league.
Uh,
And I watched like their championship game from last season or whatever. It was on YouTube. That's pretty weird, man. Well, not really weird, but like all the chicks got like huge tits, and they even wear their shirts like puffed so their tits are all hanging out. They're all good sized women, but they play like maybe like a 7-on-7 football thing. Uh, but I'll give it to the women. They play it. They're competitive. They play. They got some weird rules, but some rules that are pretty cool. It's about on the lines of like arena football or something like that. But they actually play like hell. But their uniforms is basically like a hockey or bicycle helmet with a clear. I mean, they don't have no face mask and shit. But it was competitive at least. They gave it their all. It was like their championship. But it's purely sexist. It's purely like whatever. But even the coaches and stuff and the refs. But yeah, I'd never heard of it before.
That's
yeah, when
weird
you said
because
arena football, I mean lingerie football, I knew what you were talking about then. I didn't know that was still a thing.
that's weird that you guys mentioned that because that's like the second or third time I've seen on the internet today that people didn't know about the lingerie football league. That's been
Huh.
a thing for a while.
Yeah,
I,
I didn't realize it was still around.
I didn't know about it. Somehow I've been watching a lot of college football stuff and my subscriptions on YouTube, and it just popped up in like one of those feeds after a video, and it was like a championship game, so I watched it.
Yeah, the weird thing about it is they're talented women and they're all relatively good looking. Some of them are bigger girls, but they're football players. I mean, what do you expect? There's no like Barbie doll bean poles, none at all.
No, they was this was a
They're full figured or voluptuous, decent, like healthy women. Like some of them are in excellent shape.
yeah, they were really playing. What I liked is when they like hiked the ball, the defense all got like a 2, 3, maybe 5 yard like run. They like ran. They didn't like football. They everybody's crouched down. They hike the ball, and the big eaters all smash into each other. This like they hike the ball, and like the defense got to like run straight at you. You know.
Yeah, some of them girls, they got some talent and they play hard. Like they take it very seriously. They play hard football and they'll put their bodies on the line a lot. Uh, I don't think the problem that they're going to have is if you say, okay, well, if they play hard, they've got the heart, they've got the talent. Why don't we put real uniforms on them? If you put real uniforms on them, no one will watch it. Period. That's the problem. Is they have to have and the uniforms that they wear are like bikinis, so it's definitely not healthy for them to dive all over the place and get all smashed up with no type of pads on.
See, that happened so fast. It's kind of hard to see what kind of damage was inflicted.
Yeah, that's where they need to go back tomorrow and watch the tape and say, okay, we need the camera editor up in the booth to pick a different camera for stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I got a chuckle out of that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he got some height on that backdrop. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth, to quote Mike Tyson. God, I felt that one.
No, I hope they replay that because to get the real effect, that dude went for it right there. Because when he flipped over that top rope, he went straight to the ground. Like he didn't
Mm-hmm.
hit the wrestling ring and then to the ground. He went straight to his back on the ground. That's a heck of a drop.
Yeah.
The over the head press body slam is one of my favorite moves of all time.
Man, that was a pretty nasty headbutt.
Uh huh. When in doubt, launch yourself head first into a guy, I guess. That was an interesting bit of combo offense there.
You see right there, they had some trouble up in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
I like that move. It's very interesting, but I think I'd recommend they not practice that anymore.
He got some height on that springboard moonsault there too. He had to get one more punch in on the other guy.
Ah, oh man.
I like the repetitive pins. That was pretty good.
Mm.
Now, see, based on the replay that they just showed, they expected us to like that rapid pin thing, and it worked because I brought it up. And they obviously knew what wanted me to bring it up, or they wouldn't have showed it in the replay. So Very good on the producers of the show.
They listen to their customers.
That was just sheer raw power right there.
Okay, real quick, who are you guys rooting for? Rich, who are you rooting for?
I was rooting for a good match.
Oh, come on, pick one.
I can't because I like Dragunov and I like Braun Breaker. I can't really pick one.
All right, what about you, Jason?
This dude right here, man, the one who's dressed with the spades. That
I
dude
think
right
I'm gonna
there.
agree too. I'm rooting for this guy so far.
Ooh. That's one way to stop a count.
That as well was a very good series. They did. That was excellent.
Turned a clothesline into a Spanish fly. That was good.
Oh, that's it. Turn it off. Turn it off. I can't watch anymore. The
Why?
stomp foot, the stomp on the foot thing. Ow. That.
Well, there's psychology to it because Dragunov is coming back from a foot and ankle injury.
Just imagining if that like really if somebody really did that to you like hard and intending to hurt you, how bad that would be.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Beaker from the Muppets?
Oh God, I knew Booker was going to say it at some point. That was a war. That's what that was. Holy hell.
I'm assuming that was the main event.
Yeah, that was the end.
Well, they didn't have much of an ending. I mean, not the match, but like the show people.
Yeah.
Well, they're probably at the time limit. They probably went over.
It's kind of
Usually
like
NXT is like 2.5 hours, so if they're almost at 3, so they ran over. I'm willing to bet.
I was
So
like, that's all, folks. Good night. Get the hell out.
so what? Anyway, what did you think of the match, Jason?
You know what, man? Like you guys were saying, there was a war. There was a lot of action, and guys went at it. I never really saw any of them before. They were all new to me. I know I just don't like the Steiner dude because he's from Michigan. Uh, I thought the Russian kind of guy there was a little weird. Looked like he was starting to lose it, man. I was starting to wonder if the dude was all right or on drugs or what the hell his problem was. But I thought the other dude really put on a good match too. He kind of like beat both of them most of the time at the same time. I thought he did most of the action. I thought he was going to pull it off. But it was a pretty good match. It was a real match instead of all the ladders and everything. Um, I think I'll go like a 7 on that match.
What do you think, Kingpin?
I think Jason made a lot of great points. Very entertaining match. Those dudes really gave it a lot. Screw Michigan. And I thought that the blonde haired, the German dude, was all spaced out. I was like, man, that's weird. But then he did it more times throughout the match. So I was like, okay, I get it. I guess that's like his thing, is to get all methed out real quick or whatever. Uh, I'm not really a big fan of multiple people in one ring at the same time, but there was a lot of cool stuff that they did that worked. They stayed real busy. A lot of really good moves, a lot of dangerous stuff. They didn't spend a whole lot of time acting beat up. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Jason with a 7 as well. But most of the stuff he said was right on point.
Yeah, that was good. I'm gonna go with an 8. I mean, that was it wasn't quite as good as the ladder match to open the show, but it was still a damn good match. It's hard to follow on one of those multi-person ladder matches, though. I mean, the past couple times we've had a pay-per-view where they had one of those, Money in the Bank and whatnot, we've put the multi-person ladder match as the match of the night. So I mean, it's hard to top one of those. They should always put those on at the end. That's my opinion anyway. If you're gonna have 6 people, 5 people, 7 people, 8 people, whatever in a ladder match, there's your main event right there. Because usually it's for a big thing. Now, granted, at this year's Money in the Bank, it's understandable why they didn't put the women's on last because they had the men's, and that came into play later on. If you remember when Liv Morgan won the ladder match and then cashed in on Ronda Rousey right away during the women's championship match and won the title there. So sometimes you can, where Money in the Bank's concerned anyway, you can, oh, excuse me, have that be part of the story. But tonight, I think that should have been the main event. Even though it was for the second level title and not the world title. That match just blew the doors off the show. It was a hell of a way to start the show. So, anyway, with that said, what would you give the show overall, Jason?
I think overall, I think the show probably averaged about 6.5 or 7.
What about you, Kingpin?
I'm highly critical of the drama in wrestling and the announcing in wrestling. Generally, when we do these things, I mute and watch something else. Listen to something else, and or just sit here quietly and just watch the match, so I don't have to listen to all that nonsense. And I never watch the commercials. I usually only watch the actual matches. So I'm gonna separate. Uh, the drama part was terrible. All of it was terrible. I do appreciate the low budgetness of it. That I do appreciate. So I'll give the drama part a 3, just because I think there's definitely potential, and they're giving a lot of people an opportunity to try new stuff out. Now, if we go back to the wrestling part, so the talking trash in the ring, uh, the Booker T and the dude that he was working with calling the fights, I'm gonna give that a 7. I really enjoyed that. I like Booker T on the mic, calling matches, and the dude that he was working with tonight never got overly excited, never overly dramatized things, or kissed anybody's butt one way or the other. He just called the match, and then he seemed like he bantered back and forth well with Booker T. So that was very good. The overall altogether, the wrestling, the drama, and everything all together, I'll go ahead and give the overall. I'll give it an 8 for an overall. I thought it was pretty fun, entertaining, and I also do appreciate that these are quote unquote amateurs, and they really put it on the line. They went for it, and I appreciate, as a consumer, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm thinking along the lines you are. I was going to say an 8 as well. And for many of the same reasons you did. I mean, a lot of these kids are young. A couple of them, like the one women's match, where they were seasoned professionals, but a lot of those people were still trainees. You know, they're still going into the performance center every day, day after day, week after week, and they're honing their skills, still learning. I mean, you got to go through a hell of a lot before they even put you on NXT TV. But at the end of the day, when you're done with NXT that Wednesday, because NXT's on Tuesdays on USA, next day, Wednesday, you're back in there at the training camp doing all the stuff everybody else in training camp's doing, essentially, you know? Just on a little bit higher level than what the others are, but you're still in training. They're still teaching you. Whereas the guys that are on the main roster, you wrestle Monday night, Tuesday you're traveling back home, you know, and spending time with your family. These guys, they don't have that. They're going from right back into training camp. So the I don't know where I was going with all that, but you know, it's still they're still in training, and for being in training, you could see where the ones that had more experience than others did. They put on a hell of a show tonight. The one part that Kingpin would probably agree with me that I didn't really care for was the haunted house part. I know Jason said he was slightly entertained by it, but I thought that took a little bit away from the show, especially the match after it, because it kind of took some of the energy out of it. But the rest of it, it was a banger of a show. It really was.
One of the things I also paid attention to, the crowd involvement was there. For being a small arena, which I like in
Mm-hmm.
wrestling, the holy shit and the 1, 2, 3, the count out loud, you could hear the crowd counting clearly each word. You could hear the crowd
Yep.
chanting holy shit clearly. You could hear them, like, it was good. The crowd was really into it. And for being a small crowd, you could tell that they were really into it because you could hear a lot of people making a lot of noise and enjoying themselves. I think as a production value, instead of trying to make it look like a big arena with a bunch of people in it, they should make it look like a small arena with a bunch of people in it. They do better to darken the background and make it look smaller with the same amount of people in the same space, just less lighting and different stuff like that, and more maybe lighting on the crowd somehow to make it the image look like it's a bigger crowd, but like tighter into the ring kind of deal. You know what I mean? Kind of
Yeah,
like
you
how you
know,
watch, kind of like how we watch football, from like the 50-yard line perspective, and it seems like a real tight deal. I don't know. Maybe I'm not making sense.
I was gonna say you're thinking like how AEW does their lighting.
Yeah, yeah. And the old style, like the old Ric Flair kind of stuff, you could tell
Yeah,
that there was a bunch of people around the ring, but you couldn't see that there was a bunch of people, up in the upper levels of these auditoriums or, hockey rinks that they were playing in, basketball stadiums that they're playing in, whatever they call them, arenas.
yeah.
But
Well,
the TV camera showed a packed ringside.
yeah. I think part of it is they're trying to get them ready for the main roster, because that's how the main roster does their lighting too. If you watch Raw or SmackDown, particularly down low, right there at the first like 20, 30 rows deep, it's well lit in on the main roster. So that might be why they do it that way, is to prepare them for that. Because some of these guys and girls did have experience on the indie scene, where you go on the indies, the lighting is going to be more like AEW. You're not going to see that far back in the crowd necessarily well lit like what they do in WWE. So that could be why they do that. Because the point of their live show and the pay-per-view is to get them ready for that experience on the main roster. So that lighting, that could be why they do that lighting aspect that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the WWE, they're generally going to play in an arena every night,
Mm-hmm.
and a ring is pretty small. So you've got a lot of arena before you get to the first set of bleachers or raised seats, I guess you would call them. I don't know what they call stadium seats and arenas like that, but the first ones that wouldn't be on floor level. So you got to pack it full of a lot of people because it's a lot bigger of a space just by default than whatever studio they shoot NXT in.
Yeah. Well, I think that'll do it for tonight. Unless you guys got something else you want to discuss. We've been going for almost 4 hours. So, oh, you were gonna say something, Kingpin?
No, I'm cool. I'm ready to go to sleep.
All right, you, Jason. You cool to end the show now?
Yeah, man. I had a good time, man. Enjoyed it. Thanks a lot.
Yep. So I want to thank everybody that did show up. Abigail, Gary, Rob, and whoever else showed up and didn't say anything. Because if anybody's out there still watching, if you don't say anything, we don't know you're out there. So you got to let us know you're there. So I should say the multiple personalities of Gary showed up, but you know. Not as bad as last night. I don't know if you guys saw Gary's show last night where I think Barbecue showed up in the chat at some point or another in every one of his alternate accounts.
Yeah, during the giveaway portion.
Anyway, that said, we will bid you all a good night and be sure to tune in to This Week Unloaded tomorrow night on the Unloaded Media channel. Jason, you got anything coming up on your channel? Any videos or anything?
No, I've had no time for that. But just like to mention that this was your first show on Wrestling Unloaded, and congrats, man.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It's the first time we've done an NXT, but the first show on the channel was actually AEW's pay-per-view last month when they had all the shenanigans afterwards.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I take that all back then.
Yeah, man, you're a month late. Come on. And you even paid for that pay-per-view, didn't you? And you don't even remember.
Oh, I don't remember, but
Yeah,
but
because
anyways, way to go for Wrestling Unloaded, man. Way to go.
That was the same weekend that we did the Notre Dame Ohio State game.
I'm not going to end this show if you guys sit and argue about this for the next half hour. You know
We're
that's
not
how it's going to work.
arguing.
Well, no, but that's what I mean. You're not arguing, but that's the whole thing. Now, I've just called it arguing, which was me actually antagonizing the show to last for another half an hour. So I'm psychologically digging my own grave.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because
Because
didn't
now
you just
you're
say
going to
you're ready to
defend
go to bed?
yourself and say that you weren't arguing, and I'm going to be like, oh, smart Alec. And I'm like, no, Rich, you just disagree with me. That's why you say we're not arguing. And Jason be like, come on, guys, I got to go to bed.
Yeah, I was about to say, didn't you just say you had to go to bed and you're going to antagonize? Yeah, it's not the smartest move.
I've never claimed to be the smartest person.
See, we've already done another couple minutes all because of you. It's all your fault.
You can't go to bed without getting in the last word, Rich.
Uh-huh.
Beep.
All right, we're done. I'm stopping this before it gets any crazier.
Bye, Sabrina.
Have a good night, folks.